The one thing you don't want to do going into harvest is get caught by surprise. So it's important to get out and inspect fields, and that way you know what you're going to be looking into as that combine pulls up to the field. So if you have potential issues, or on the other side, if you have a really good looking crop, that field caught a lot of rains, you can use that information to kind of align. Maybe if you got a really good looking field of corn, you're going to need some more trucks to help get that grain out of the field, so you can prioritize a little more help when you get on fields like that. The important thing of checking fields at this time of the year is just identifying potential issues that could come up. So it's going to help align things in terms of maybe there's some standability issues, maybe a field might look really good, it's a little wet.
This time of year, walking soybean fields to take a look and see how the plants are growing and developing, to see height-wise and from a lodging standpoint if you have any issues out there, as well as just checking your varieties out there to see how they handled the growing conditions, the weather, the environment that they went through, to help you make variety decisions for the next growing season.
This year we've had relatively low disease pressure up until this point. Normally gray leaf spot is a disease that we look for. With the dry weather we've had this growing season, we've had very little gray leaf spot and northern corn leaf blight. A new disease that's come in over the past 4 or 5 years has been tar spot, and that's one we're getting far or close enough to harvest that we won't see a lot of negative impact on yield if it comes in now, but it still could definitely impact late season plant health. The
soybean fields are growing pretty nicely. Some are getting a little taller than others, but with that rainfall early on in the season, we've been seeing some sudden death syndrome popping up in some soybeans here in the month of August, which is pretty typical for that time of year. And that came from the spring with the wet and cool. It usually infects the soybean plants at those times, and then now is the time that we're typically starting to see it in some fields. So we're seeing some of that. We're also seeing a little bit of white mold in some of those taller fields with the moisture that we've picked up and the tall height of the soybean plants.
You want to have good standability. If the plant goes down, it's obviously going to slow down harvest. It'll be harder to pick up the ears off the ground. You can do the push test, so you can take a plant and you can shove it over to the next row and make sure that it does not snap off or doesn't bend down at the root, just making sure it springs back and has some good stock strength that way.
So we've had a really cool August, and so we're taking a little bit longer to get to black layer on corn and taking a little bit longer for soybeans to mature. So that's going to cause for a delayed harvest, and so that's going to push us more into October. So that means we're going to have to work a little bit harder to get this crop out of the field, and we might have to be taking a crop off at higher moistures than we feel comfortable with. We've had a little bit of issues this year with pollination due to the hot, dry weather we saw, but we have an advantage right now with the cooler August that this cooler August is going to help with grain fill a lot. We want to know what else is going on out in your fields this year, so be sure to jump below and leave a comment with different things that you're seeing out in your fields this year. Also, be sure to like and subscribe to Hoosier Ag Today and check out the rest of the Walking Through the Growing Season series presented by Specialty Hybrids.